beyond the field of play, the flyover, the students in the stands, the prisoner exchange of students that spent a good 6 months, a full semester at each institution.
And that flyover, the legendary A-10s.
Now the Corps of Cadets of Army, the Cadet Wing of Air Force, they're expecting well over 50,000 people in this NFL venue. Air Force won the toss and deferred. The boot at elevation a mile high. And Army takes the touchback as we take a look at our starting lineups, brought to you by Papa John's. And as you mentioned, Randy, Bryson Daly back in the saddle at quarterback. His first start since he suffered a non-contact right leg injury against Troy in the middle of October.
And he makes a big difference, John, because he's the guy that he throws the best. He's the best runner at the quarterback position as far as feeling out this new offense. He's going to make a big difference, but really this game is going to be up to how well this fairly inexperienced offensive line deals with this Air Force defense that is so good at stopping the run.
Second in the FBS, denying rushing yards, and that's a crowded front for Air Force. The give to Udo, who gets wrapped up at the 30 by Alec Mock, gets the 31. And take a look at the rest of the offense for the Black Knights, including a freshman center in Brady Small.
Yeah, really, you get a freshman center in at these academies, highly unusual, and especially have a freshman center that your coach says is one of your two best offensive linemen.
They started every game, came in with such outstanding strength. 2nd and 4. Blitz comes on the keep. And beyond the plane to the 35, that's good for a first down. Jonathan Youngblood the stop. Defense for Air Force, Bo Richter leads the team in tackles for loss.
Yeah, nice job by Small, the center, dealing with their nose tackle, Droig. And he got blocked into Bo Richter, who couldn't make the tackle there.
Now Richter shined at Navy. It was a game dominated by the Air Force defense to begin the CIC race. The big back is in, Jacoby Buchanan, and he gets stuffed. Only a gain of 1. Ball on the ground. Air Force gets the denial, only a gain of 1. Caden Blum was in there.
Well, if you see 33, that's a 255-pound fullback. He is the power runner. And there's a good example of what kind of run defense this Air Force defense can make. There's not much doubt it's going to be a run when you see Buchanan. And they rose to that occasion really, really well.
At one point in his career, he went 200 consecutive carries without losing a yard. 2nd down. Keeper off the fake, and he slips through! Bryson Daly! Deception to touchdown! 64 yards!
It's worth mentioning the #2 run defense in the whole country. Air Force favored by a whole heck of a lot in this game. Inside, Small does a nice job. Buchanan goes in there. He gets smacked. And Bryson Daly lets him get smacked, pulls that ball out, and before you know it, he's past the linebackers. Once he's past the linebackers, it's going to be a touchdown.
Army had been shut out in back-to-back games. It scores in the first 2 minutes today. Now, what did Jeff Monken say to us in our meetings this week? He talked about how exactly on that kind of play, they normally pop one. They hadn't had a run of longer than 36 yards all year. That's a 62-yard touchdown.
I mean, they still haven't done it with a fullback. They've done it in the past with a fullback. Now they've done it with a quarterback.
And now the kick. Dane Kinnaman, Jalen Johnson, the return then at elevation. That has plenty of distance. Let's take a look at the Papa John's starting lineups for the undefeated Air Force Falcons. Zach Larrier is the 3rd Air Force quarterback to begin his tenure as the starter, 8-0. Rich Mayo did it in 1958, Bob Parker in 1970, and now Larrier. And that bottom nugget there, Randy, perhaps of the biggest import. Not a single giveaway, pick or fumble by Larrier.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. The #1 job at these academies at quarterback is do not mess with giving away the ball.
Keeper. Initial block gives him push of 5 to the 30. At center is Thor Paglialong, preseason All-Mountain West, who is the only offensive player named a game captain each week.
Yeah, and Paglialong was the key there, because all Larrier did was take one jab step, not even much of a fake, and then immediately run a little quarterback draw that was really well executed for 5 yards.
Second down at 5. That inside give. Army able to hold the gap, the A-gap called crucial by Army DC Nate Woody. Take a look at the Black Knight defense. Austin Hill that stop, but Leo Lowen leads the team in tackles.
And Nate Woody, the defensive coordinator, loves Leo Lowen, the way he plays, the intensity he has, the leadership he has. And he's perfect for this defense because Woody wants to do the old don't bend, don't break, but they get better the closer they get to the goal line. They get in the red zone. This is a really, really strong defense.
Eldridge and Michelle in the backfield, 3rd and 2. And the give, he's short. Austin Hill was there on Michelle, and he is halted a yard shy. It's 4th down and a yard.
Not a big surprise if they go for it here, but Army does a really nice job. Talk about playing in the other guy's backfield. That's how you stop this kind of an offense. You get in their backfield.
Offense on the field, Air Force and Troy Calhoun, 79% on 4th down. That is top 10 of the country.
Number 1 job on defense, stay on side. Don't listen to the snap count. Watch the ball.
These are the 2 least penalized teams in major college football.
Look at this, all 22 players are within about 5 yards of each other.
Larrier runs the play, and he's stuffed! The defense denies! Turnover on downs at the 34.5.
Number 1 rushing team in the country goes for it on 4th down and gets stuffed. And it all happens inside out. It was Lowen and company taking that one out. Nowhere to go. I mean, absolutely nowhere. That push by the Army defense into the backfield, that was textbook for Jeff Monken's defense.
So Troy Calhoun's team took a bit of a chance at something each of these academies does very often, even more than their peers nationally. It's up everywhere in college football, but these were the innovators.
Yeah, I mean, these are the teams that are used to going for it on 4th down because they're used to running the ball so much.
On the ground, Udo, a hard yard. Wrapped up by Alec Mock. A time of possession, something also critical. It's something that Army historically has done well, not as much with this offense. But Air Force forced to the sidelines, a rarity. They lead the country in time of possession. They've been on defense for a good chunk here at the start. 2nd and 9, option. Daly, hot potato, out of bounds. They're looking for Hayden Reed along that left sideline.
That's an incomplete pass. Forward lateral, so an incomplete pass.
There was Bo Richter right alongside him, so it's 3rd and long. What do you dial up for this version of Army's offense here?
Well, this version of Army's offense is a little more familiar with throwing the ball. So you got to say you've got doubles on both sides. I love the idea of dumping something right in the middle behind the linebackers.
Their best pass-catching running back, Tyrell Robinson, is in, number 21. He had missed a year with a knee injury. Daly has space and time. Absorbs a couple of hits. He's denied at the 28. They're short by about 3. Jonathan Youngblood was there on the stick. And here comes the field goal unit.
Sets up about a 45-yard field goal. His options down the field were fairly limited. Good defense by Air Force and good decision by Daly. He's already had a huge impact in his first game back in a while.
So Quinn Moretsky, who's hit from 45, that was against UTSA. We are literally a mile above sea level. to make it a 2-score game. Snap, spot, his kick on the way, plenty of leg. And that is good. First time since then going by his first name, Nathan Troy Calhoun was a backup on that 1985 team.
And this predominantly Air Force crowd has been quieted down by this hot start by Army.
Army had been blanked in back-to-back games, shut out in succession by Troy and dominated by LSU. And a couple of scores early for Army as we get another touchback. What a first 5+ minutes for Army.
It really has been. We told you that it's going to be a big difference with Bryson Daly back at quarterback. And man, has he made a difference immediately. Running the ball for that touchdown. The defense on 4th down stops the Air Force. Then you get a field goal and puts us where we are at 10-0. And for a team like Army that was so heavily an underdog coming into this game, this is an ideal start for the Black Knights. Now, keep in mind, Air Force is a second-half team. They're much better in the second half than they are in the first.
Larrier under center, 4 wide, no true running back. Larrier following the left side. Pass Lowen, first down. Tamed by Lowen as he took him out at around the 38. Able to pick up 13.
Running backs, we don't need no stinking running backs. We've got a track athlete at quarterback that can fly. And you got a guy like that with Larrier that's got that kind of speed. He saw that little crease on the corner, and that was just pure feet going.
He's won a couple of Mountain West track titles, indoor and outdoor, in the 200 meters. On first down, looking to throw. Deep heave. Jared Rosnes can't contain it. Quindraylon Hammonds was right there with him. They got a one-on-one, incomplete.
Quindraylon Hammonds gets in just the right spot because he's got to come back for that ball. You got to give credit, though. Larrier throws that thing right down the chimney. And it comes right straight down the chimney and hits him in the chest.
By the way, we showed that graphic earlier. Army has fallen in 52 straight against AP-ranked teams. The last win against Air Force in 72, that was the first year of the Commander-in-Chief's trophy. Claimed later that year by Army after it beat Navy. Second down, option pitch. Stiff arm, and a good wrap-up. There is Hammonds again. Able to lasso Eldridge at the 45. That'll be a gain of about 7. Bo Nicholas Paul was in there as well.
Yeah, the missing link on this play is that inside linebacker support. You played the pitch well. He pitched the ball. There's got to be somebody coming and scraping from the inside. That usually means you've got some good blocking inside from that O-line.
Among the subs, Hammonds goes off, who has been a star for Army, their second leading tackler. Aaron Bibbins, the converted high school quarterback, is in at safety. Third down. Out of the gun with Michelle sidecar. Motion from Eldridge. Lost the ball in the act of a throw. Pile ensues. They plop down at the 43-yard line. It's Army ball. Larrier lost the handle. The first giveaway for the Air Force quarterback position on the season.
Well, talk about the definition of an empty hand for Larrier's first turnover of the season. Handles the ball up, but watch the empty hand. Hand comes forward, no ball in it.
That's looking for an outright program record, 14th straight win, the winning streak in grand peril. It's 10-0 Army with the ball after a fumble by Larrier, recovered by Leo Lowen. Keeper by Daly, tried to sprint out of the ankle tackle of Trey Taylor. Gets him at the 34-yard line. That'll be a gain of about 7 as we check in with Tina.
You saw Lowen force that turnover earlier. Well, when I spoke to Leo Lowen yesterday, he didn't care what Air Force's record, what he said. This is a championship on the line. We are still in the race for that trophy. We haven't played these games yet. Coming in here with a lot of intensity.
And that is certainly something that resonates when these academies match up. Split backfield out of the gun, tight press, one safety, not all that high. Keeper. And just short is Daly. Seems to be reading that crashing front pretty well. Bo Richter in there on the stick.
Yeah, good hesitation too. He comes off that fake, and it's a very long fake. Once he comes off that fake, he can really read the interior of that defense a lot better.
Well, third down and less than a yard. Jeff Monken said in his press availability this week that if he had one specific biggest regret, it was not running in certain short yardage goal line situations. Blitz is on, keeper, and he's got it. That's a first down plunge for Daly. Picks up 3 to the 31. Jaden Goodwin was in there.
If you're an old school guy used to the triple option and whatnot, your brain is screaming when you saw that setup. Get under center, get under center. Well, you can do almost as much now out of the shotgun snap as you can from under center, though I got to say in 4th and short, I'd get under the center.
And longer engagement because of what was on the line against Air Force.
I mean, you got to be honest. You're going into a game like this against Troy Calhoun and Air Force. It's pride. And like they said, like Tina mentioned, the CIC trophy for Army is still out there. Mm-hmm. I mean, Air Force has already played Navy. They have these 2 games to finish their season can make an entire season for this academy.
That's where the 2 head coaches had different tones about the weight of the CIC. For Troy Calhoun, it was more about next opponent, next game, let's stay laser focused. For Jeff Monken, he was pretty blunt in saying, yeah, we have a chance to play essentially for a championship in the middle of the season. Bunch trips. Keeper again by Daly. Zigzags through, and he slithers a path for 9 yards. He's just under a yard short. Jaden Goodwin got him on the leg.
Well, again, that's all about the guys up front. Small and Filipowicz, center and left guard, opening things up inside. But it's that long delayed feed to the running back that I think right now has got Air Force just a little hesitant. It's like they're looking and not reading their keys and reacting.
A couple of big bodies on the left side, including 32 Tyson Riley, former fullback, now playing tight end. This one stuck into the running back's belly, and that's good for a yard to the red zone. Armed Forces football proudly supported by the Exchange. Well, first down run.
You're already set up in field goal range right here at the tip of the red zone. No passing yards yet in this game. Normally not a huge surprise. And Army's doing what they know they can do, what they do best, and that's run the ball, not their new kind of passing offense.
Riley motion. This time Army converges and collapses. No gain. Jaden Goodwin leading the charge there, the flock of Falcons. Now, Udo has really shined in his blocking so far, Randy, but we haven't seen the big run from the freshman running back.
Not yet. That's the one thing that Air Force has not had to deal with is because Udo's got that speed, too. He's a good size kid at 220, but he's got good screws, too, once he breaks free. You let him get past the linebackers, he'll be like Bryson Daly. He'd be gone.
OC Drew Thatcher told us their first scrimmage, they had vets against vets, freshmen against freshmen, and Udo was a man amongst boys. Keeper for Daly. Surrounded, hounded, and dropped. Only a yard to the 19. Bo Richter led the trio of Air Force defenders.
Yeah, really nice job. Look at Richter. Dealing with blocks, coming off those blocks, making tackles, stopping them short. Now you've got to think, if you're Air Force, will they throw here? I think it's 50-50 chance. It wouldn't surprise me at all if Army just ran the ball for what they could get and then kicked a field goal.
1 of 2 on third down today. Robinson and Johnson in, more passing play running backs. Robinson to the slot, a good pass receiver. Blitz is on near side. Daly throws that way. It's caught. Casey Reynolds veered out of bounds. He is shy by a couple of yards. Trey Williams helped shove him out of play.
Bringing in the heavy unit.
So you agree with this? They're going for it here on 4th and short, an easy chip shot field goal range.
Well, they haven't snapped the ball yet.
That's true.
I think it's incumbent upon Monken and his staff and his football team, give the other guy a chance to make a mistake.
Army is converted on 4th down 16 times, only 3 teams more. On the ground, they got it! First down, Army. They convert on 4th and 2 and earn the Air Force 9. Jaden Goodwin in there on another tackle.
Yeah, this Bryson Daly is really something. Talk about a guy coming back in and being the difference maker. And he gets hit short. He's not going to get that first down if it's where he gets hit. That leg drive got him that first down.
Daly just inside of the 5. Buchanan helped to bulldoze a path. Contact there from Bo Richter, Jonathan Youngblood. It's now over 100 yards rushing for Daly in the opening quarter.
Yeah, that's really been the story. That long delay on that fake opened up the defense, opened up the middle of that defense. Because as Daly pulls that ball out, his eyes had to get huge. There's a huge hole open in the middle of that defense.
Army trying to snap a 5-game losing streak is up 10-zip on one of the hottest teams in America. Daly, end zone, touchdown! A second score for the junior signal caller. It is 16-0 Army.
Well, if you came to watch a power running team, you're seeing a power running team. It's just not the one you expected. Army is one of the better running teams in the country the last decade or so. Went to a new offense, has been kind of lost. There's nothing lost about Jeff Monken's football team right now. They are taking it to the Falcons.
Point after, action on each side. The student section for Army, the Corps of Cadets just chanting in unison, scoreboard to a largely silent stadium. Bryson Daly has been the star. 2 touchdowns, over 100 yards rushing already.
Yeah, the two outstanding parts of the Army game so far has been their quarterback's play and the defense just stuffing and turning over Air Force.
The boot more than deep enough. Tomorrow night, 7 Eastern, get ready for double the NWSL Thrillers. This year's star-studded semifinals kick off. Sophia Smith, the Portland Thorns, trying to claim their second straight title against Allie Krieger and Gotham FC, followed by Alex Morgan and Shield winners. The Wave take on Megan Rapinoe and OL Reign. Catch all the action here on CBS Sports Network. This is the biggest deficit Air Force has faced in a couple of seasons. New territory for a team that entered unblemished 8-0. Motion from Eldridge. Larrier keeps space and yanked on the right shoulder. He gets brought down at the 40. Quindraylon Hammonds with a big-time stop, gain of 15.
A little bit of the same thing. You saw that fake working so well for Army. Watch this fake on the speed play. That opens up things inside. This is the defense that Army will bend and not break, but they'll also, at presentation, it'll look like there's a lot of area to run.
Larrier to Michelle. Ball on the ground, and Army's got it. Another giveaway, and Jimmy Charlo pounces. Jubilation and disbelief.
Just a perfect job, John, of looking for your opportunity on a run that would have been about a 3 or 4 yard gain. Watch the helmet on the ball coming right there. Helmet on the ball, arm rips through, and here comes the ball.
This sets up Army's third drive, starting in Air Force territory. This is already the most rushing yards that Air Force has allowed in any game all year. And we're in the first quarter.
And again, we're saying this is a team that A, doesn't get stopped on 4th downs, and B, doesn't give the ball to the other team.
John Marshall loops in motion. Daly keeps. And he gets just beyond the 45, gain of a little more than 2. Jaden Goodwin was in there. You know, we asked Nate Woody, the outstanding DC of Army, about the idea of forcing turnovers, and he spoke at great length about how he studied it quite a bit over the course of the years. And he said that his idea is that the second or third man in is often the force that winds up forcing the turnover, and we have seen that. Air Force showing blitz. Daly keeps. And there was Thiergood. He's able to spin and fall forward to the 43. Gain of 2. It'll be third down at the long 5.
Well, let's give Jeff Monken and his staff credit. I know the team's playing really, really well, but the offense you've seen, this is not the spread new, flip it around, throw the ball a little bit. This is saying, hey, look, our offensive line, you've got to block, and we're going to run the ball. We're going to take this thing, we're going to stuff it at them. It's up to you guys to make the difference, and they have so far.
A small Army as we check in with Tina and Air Force head man Troy Calhoun.
Coach Calhoun, an uncharacteristic start for Air Force. How do you get your players to get back to the kind of football we've seen this season?
Yeah, that's exactly what we need to do. You know, offensively, obviously put a couple of first downs together, which we haven't done yet, and then defensively come up with a stop.
What's the key to stopping Bryson Daly, their quarterback, who's been rushing all day?
Yeah, he's going to get a bunch of carries. You know, we got to be a little firmer on the interior, and then obviously whoever the safety is, whoever it's got to fit, we got to be in the right spot.
Coach, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate that, Tina. First quarter, Army held the ball for almost 11 minutes. Thanks in part to those 2 Air Force giveaways. Third down, looking to throw. Daly hammered, incomplete. That skipped ground. He was looking for Noah Short. And a flag down where the contact came.
Yeah, that was going to be pretty close to a turnover there if that ball stays in the air anymore.
Roughing the passer. Defense. Number 96.
Late hit on the quarterback.
15-yard penalty. First down.
Watch where he hits him. You get in there late and you finish him off. It's the finish him off with the hands around him that causes that head. Watch the head hit the ground. As you finish him off, bang! That can be really dangerous.
That was Peyton's adroit preseason all-conference in the Mountain West that thrust him down to the ground.
Hey, talk about that enthusiasm and the passion. Hard to shut that off at a time like that, but you just got to be disciplined.
2 least penalized teams in America by total flags and yards, and here's another flag in rapid succession.
Isn't that how that works when you show a graphic that says they don't get penalized very often?
Marcus Woods, our referee.
False start. Offense. Number 68. 5-yard penalty. First down.
And false starts are high throughout college football. That's Jackson Filipowicz, the left guard.
And Filipowicz just gets that little tweak. Filipowicz out of Blessed Trinity High School, which is not too far from where I live in Roswell. 3-time state champion there.
Keeper behind Udo. Daly bends it out left. The flag is out. He hops out of bounds. Looks like a hold.
And when you get the corner like that and the pursuit sort of isn't there, it's usually because of a hold on the left side of your offensive line.
Holding. Offense. Number 78. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Shane Buckingham, the starting left tackle, who was a southpaw quarterback in his high school days.
Right here.
Daly showing some elevation there, leaping right over Trey Williams. But these penalties have backed Army up dramatically. Here's first and 25. Daly finds his target. Up the sideline, Toby Olawale. Alec Mock sticks him at the 32.
Hey, if you're Air Force, you got to get back defensively at playing this game on Army's side of the ball. They've been reactive. That long fake has really, I think, affected this defense.
Only 4 from Air Force. Daly taking a shot, too long, incomplete for Ijon Marshall. We check in with Tina downstairs.
Now, last week, before Army played UMass, Bryson Daly barely practiced. He was coming back from his leg injury, and he would take a couple of snaps in practice with the second team. I watched one of those practices, though. He was not very mobile, and then had to come in to the game last week against UMass when Champ Harris was struggling. The difference in Daly this week is very noticeable. Talking to offensive coordinator Drew Thatcher, he said that Daly worked with the first team all week long, and it has made so much a difference, and also his health is back to 100%.
3rd and 14. Udo ran right into a Falcon. That was Jalen Mergerson, who starred last week for Air Force, and he stood him up, but he would not yield.
Remember what Tina was when she was talking to Troy Calhoun? He talks about the safety that it has to identify and fill. That was identifying and fill and stopping that run. But you're in field goal position. You're set up for a 40-yarder to add to this lead.
Quinn Moretsky is hit from a career and season-high tying 45. He's only missed 2 on the year. Moretsky split.
My guys can do it. And man, so far they sure have.
They have lived up to that billing, and they've also had some help. There's an equilibrium there, The mistakes by Air Force have opened some doors.
Yeah, it's come from an unlikely source. I mean, getting stopped on 4th down, that talks to the pride and the passion. The turnover, you got Larrier making his first turnover of the season. That makes a big difference. And then you're getting balls ripped away, helmets on footballs. I mean, if you're Troy Calhoun and Air Force, don't ask that one question. Not good so far, but what else could go wrong? Because you don't want to ask what else could go wrong.
Larrier, option pitch. Blocks hold, hammer hit arrives. That's a 1st down sprint. Max DiDomenico, part of the stick after a 12 yards earned there by Eldridge.
And that's the style of football that Air Force needs to get back to. That's running your football. Running the option out to the right side, getting some really good blocking on the inside. The good result, net result of that good blocking inside is pursuit gets cut back, and that's why you get that big gain.
On the ground, Eldridge out of the first hit. He gets swarmed just short of the 40, picks up about 3. DiDomenico led that charge. Well, the giveaways are paramount because Army has had 4 possessions. 3 have begun in Air Force territory. All 4 have resulted in points. And that puts the pressure on this Air Force offense that is very good. But at the same time, Jeff Monken's team has done such an excellent job of disrupting the balance. There's a complementary nature to Air Force at its best.
Yeah, look at the nature of these CIC games. They're not high-scoring affairs.
Larrier loading up and throws it to no one. Seemed like gross miscommunication. Kate Harris was closest to the area. Truthfully, it was closer to the Army secondary.
Well, it's all about timing, the passing game, right? So 1, 2, 3. Okay. Somebody ran the wrong route. But that's okay. It gives you 3rd down and a chance to get it back.
And remember, Air Force did win the toss and defer. And as you mentioned, Air Force has been a second-half team. That's when they've throttled squads on the year. Motion from Kinnaman, blitzes on backside. Larrier steps into it and completes to Brandon Engel. Tumbles down for the first to the 48. He gets it.
Yeah, that's really a pretty job by Larrier putting that ball exactly where it needs to be. There's coverage there. You're throwing it just past the linebacker into the stretched out arms of your receiver.
And that was Camden O'Gara in coverage, who got the start over Caleb Fortner, a top 3 tackler. O'Gara cleared with a broken hand. Matches up better against this academy option look, according to his DC, Nate Woodard. Bruising bulldoze run to the Army 48. It's a gain of 5. Austin Hill in there on the stop.
You can tell Guerra's got a bandaged up arm pretty good. So when you look at 54, he's going to have some padding on that hand. But I know his defensive coordinator was really happy about getting him back and getting his spit and fire back into his defense.
Crowded front, but the high safety fades on 2nd and 5. Misdirection. Larrier through the first wave, not the second. Spilled at the 44, gain of 4. Excuse me, at the 45-yard line, make that about 3.5. Austin Hill was in there.
Coming from that right defensive tackle spot all the way across the defense, teaming up. There's a combination you don't see too often. Safety and defensive tackle making a a tackle for a 3-yard gain on the other side of the ball.
This is also something we hadn't seen all day, Randy. This is Air Force's first trip into Army territory. 1 of 3 on 3rd down. Owen Burke, the deep back. Larrier off the fake. Takes a shot. Incomplete, flag out. Bo Nicholas Paul leapt in the air.
I'm going to say that contact was just a little bit early.
Pass
And it
interference. Defense, number 6. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Jared Rosnos, who is Air Force's top pass catcher by catches and yards.
They called it on 6, but it was number 2, definitely, that had that left hand. It was the left hand with the tug on the jersey as the receiver was going up.
Army more penalty flags and yards in this first half than it averages per game. Army checks out defensively. Side give. Only a couple of yards. Now this Air Force team has been opportunistic with its explosiveness, but its more usual modus operandi is a methodical bruising drive.
Yeah, taking advantage of that really good offensive line. I mean, when I say a good offensive line, this Air Force line is considered one of the top 10 lines in the entire country. And right now, they are not making the difference.
Larrier keeps right into a wave of Army defenders. He's denied at the 26, gets only about 3. It'll be 3rd and 5. Armed Forces football, proudly supported by USAA. Are you thinking 4-down territory?
Oh, it's definitely 2 downs here. You're down 20-0. Yes, absolutely.
There's a lot of time left in this game, but it has been a tsunami of momentum for Army. Right from the advent, scoring in less than 2 minutes on the opening possession. Kinnaman is out wide to the right. He had that 94-yard touchdown grab against Navy. Larrier on the keeper. And he gets hammered on the hip. He'll be short by a couple of yards. It's 4th down. Kyle Lewis is in there.
Another hesitation right there. That hesitation play worked so well earlier. Did not work out quite as well. There wasn't as big a hole inside for Larry to take advantage over his right guard.
0 for 1 on 4th down today. Top 10 in the country on 4th down of the season. This is the 10th play of the drive.
You got a top 10 line. This is where you prove it.
Crowd in front. Ball on the ground. Larrier tried to reverse and flip the option pitch to Kinnaman. And Army collapses and crushes.
That is all inside.
First team that entered on fire hot, top 25 in the CFP, is down 20-0. Turnovers have dominated. And not much there for Noah Short. He's actually going to lose a little more than a yard. Let's take a look at what Army's done with the football.
As you can see in the last 3, not much in the way of a short field, or pretty much a short field. Getting to do that makes a huge difference.
Good in the medical tent after this.
Well, look at him right here. Lines up a defensive tackle. Watch him get into this pile. And then he gets finished right here. Gets bent back.
Tina, what do you have?
Well, he did walk over to the medical tent under his own power, just very gingerly. They're working on him right at this time, so I'll keep you guys updated on his status.
Second time, same ankle. I think the same thing happened. He got bent over a pile.
Could that open things up all the more? Bryson Daly has had a keen feel for reading that front of Air Force that's been a little softer the last few possessions.
Especially the interior, and especially coming off that prolonged fake. Been holding that read a long time.
He's got Udo behind him. Air Force showing press on each edge. Trey Williams matched up bottom of the screen against Liam Fortner.
That long fake is one of the advantages of working out of this pistol formation with the back straight behind you.
Trey Taylor on a blitz. Daly sidesteps. Blocks are there. He hurdles a man. And from nearly dead to rights in the backfield, he picks up nearly 5.
From -2 yards to about 5 yards gained, all because of a hop jump right there. Cut back inside. Normally you say you don't want to cut back inside because that's where all the linebackers live, but the linebackers are occupied, they're being blocked. And he does a good job of getting there and getting the yards that he can, setting up a 3rd and 5.
Each team 1 of 4 today. Daly invites the harm, bear hug, flag out. He's short by a little more than a yard. Mergerson wrapped him up.
My guess in here would be a hold, considering where the flag went and where it went.
Offense, number 51, 2-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Freshman center Brady Small.
Brady Small, 51, working in the middle. See that right arm hooking? Yeah, you don't have to grab and see a jersey move to know that it's holding. Usually got to keep the arms within the frame of the body to avoid that kind of an offense.
3rd down and 12.
Go!
Daly. Flag out. He gets to the 31, picks up 3.
Yeah, that'll be a holding again, which I imagine Air Force will probably decline.
Holding, offense, number 78. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
Did he have an open target?
Kind of in the backside away from the play, but yes, he had a guy that he could have gotten the ball to if he had the time to do it, which he did not.
There's Noah short. Cooper Allen, Billy Belkey have open competitions for the punter job each week. Allen has held on to it most of the year, only averaging about 38 per punt. He's had a couple of very short ones recently. Kinnaman, the return man, just north of his own 25. Good hang time, fair catch wave. And Kinnaman brings it in.
With A&M.
Air Force, 2 fumbles lost, 2 turnovers on downs. The first 4 possessions, Larry are hammered. That's incomplete, flag out. Contact came from Cam Jones.
That had to be uncatchable. Well, there was no way that he was going to get to that ball.
Pass interference. Defense, number 10, 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
Larrier throws this thing out.
So a couple of the calls against Army DBs have come matched up with Air Force's top wide receiver, Jared Rosnos.
That's where the college rule is much more solving if you're a defensive team. It only goes from the line of scrimmage, not from the spot of the foul.
Michelle right through the arm attempt. He just keeps churning and carries a Black Knight, Kyle Lewis, for the ride all the way to the 44.
Kyle Lewis got about a 10-yard ride there from Michelle. Line up at nose tackle. Get a hold of him about 4 yards down the field. You can't get him on the ground for about another 6-7 yards. That's showing some real nice leg strength.
Picks up 13. Back into Army territory. Larrier. Leaping grab. 1st down. Gain of 20 to the 24 for Rosnos.
Don't forget, Air Force deferred, so they'll get the ball to start the second half. And they're a team that really thrives in the second half. This is the perfect way for them to end the first half.
This is the best rhythm Air Force has had offensively on a day marred by mistakes. Motion from Kinnaman. Larrier. Brought down by Leo Lowen. That'll be a loss of a yard. Just the 2nd tackle for loss by Army today.
Yeah, being aggressive and getting across the line, that's the MO of this defense. Leo Lowen wraps them up, grabs a hip, grabs a leg. That's a good sure tackle there by Lowen.
Certain players seem to shine in the academy games, particularly defensively. Lowen did so in Army-Navy last year. He had 16 tackles in that double overtime thriller. Larrier fakes the pitch, pats the ball, off the hands, incomplete. Looking for his tight end, Caleb Rillos.
Well, we talk about passion and enthusiasm. On that one right there, Larrier just had a little bit too much enthusiasm. Ball could have had a little less spit and vinegar on it and a little bit lower. His tight end could have gotten to it.
And now could Larrier find the composure? 8-0 was the starter. That's in grand peril, getting blanked as it stands. Larrier, that was behind angle. What a great adjustment to twist to the ball. He's got a first down to the 12, gain of 13.
That is one heck of a catch. Talk about contorting your body back to the ball. You're expecting it over your right side. It comes into your left side. Possession, inbounds. Does he have it? I don't know. You might want to take a look at that upstairs, I would think.
They get the snap off. Makes it move. Burke in the backfield. Larrier makes two men miss. And then a couple of Black Knights chip him down. It's loss of half a yard. Hammonds was in there.
Let's look at this thing again at the end. When does he have possession and does he have a foot down when it happens? Right now. I really don't know. I think they got away with one there.
Under 3 minutes, all 3 timeouts. Second down at 11. Air Force led by its air attack. Its vaunted ground game grounded by the Black Knights to this point. Larrier fires, incomplete. They're looking for Angle, who was battling there with Cam Jones once more.
He was looking for another flag back there on Jones. It's an interesting place that Troy Calhoun and Air Force finds himself in. They too are kind of have their hands on their head going, kind of like that kid, because the running game isn't there. And that's their MO, that's their bread and butter. Working behind the diesel, fueling this offense has not been there.
They lead the country averaging 300 a game. They've got 82 with the first half getting close to complete. 3rd and 11. Blitz comes far side. They pick it up. Larrier hit. End zone. Incomplete. Looking for Rosnos. He could not control it. Now what? It looks like Matthew DePore is coming on, and they're going to try a field goal.
Yeah, you put points on the board. You know, if you're Troy Calhoun, you could go for it here. But on this replay, good defense, couldn't quite get that catch. Not a bad throw by Larrier. Ball definitely hits the ground. But you take your points here. You're going to get the ball to start the second half. Don't compound earlier errors with another one and not taking these points.
30-yard field goal attempt. Down 20-3. Boot by Air Force. Fair catch wave. This week, the basketball community lost a legend. Hall of Fame coach Bob Knight. Prior to winning 3 national championships at Indiana, Knight, the head man at Army from 1965 to 1971, where he coached Mike Krzyzewski. He was 83 years old at the time of his passing. Jeff Monken was asked about Coach Knight this week, and he specifically brought up the toughness that Bob Knight's teams possessed and how he felt there's a corollary for the entire institutional attitude and what his team shows. Following Buchanan, Daly, who has been pounded all day, gets to the 31 and picks up 6.
Well, toughness and fire is what Bryson Daly has shown as being the missing link of this offense, really running the ball the way he has. He has finished runs off extremely well for a quarterback that has been hurt in the past, but man, he's healthy right now.
He has more rushing yards today than any opponent as a team has had against Air Force in a full game all year. The Commander-in-Chief's Trophy games, they're different. Buchanan gets low and drives. He picks up the first, plunging to the 36. Trey Taylor part of the stick.
And remember, this is an offense coming into this season that was totally sort of revamping their persona. And sure, there's different formations, and we're seeing them spread out and not all lumped up like most option teams can get. But they're pretty much meat and potatoes running the ball right now.
Uno trying to bang it outside. Able to evade Williams. No, Army content to play a little bit of keep away here with only 1:20 until halftime.
Yeah, they'd be more than happy to keep the ball for the rest of this half and find a way to move the ball back down to, somewhere around the 30-yard line of Air Force, which would set them up for another pretty long field goal. So you got 30 yards to get to there.
Riley sets up shop. Marshall motion to the slot. Daly hit the backfield. Will lose yardage. Drilled back at the 38. Dropped for a loss of 2 by Kupono Blake.
Yeah, Blake and the defensive line, really nice job right there, dealing with the blockers in front of him and penetrating into the backfield. Beautiful defense there. That's how you stop a running game.
And Air Force calls timeout. He had indicated they might take a few more chances, but here it's 20-3. Daly indeed just keeps it. Sandwiched by a slew of Falcons at the 40. Gets a couple of yards.
See, it's not very exciting, and I think it drives fans crazy at times when you just kind of run a ball inside like that on third down. But you don't turn over the ball. You don't give the other guys a chance. And you set up your punt team to be able to pin the other offense further back. There's 1 minute and 8 seconds to go right now, so you're looking at giving the ball back to Air Force with about 1 minute to go. So Air Force, who's better suited to throw the ball, will be able to move the ball here at the last drive of the first half.
Now, Randy, there is reason that this is such a stunning score. Army limped in with losses in 5 consecutive games, marred by giveaways, a turnover margin dead last in the FBS in that time. Horrendous on third down, unable to score, literally 0 points in the last 2 games.
Yeah, there's been every reason in a normal game to say, wow, this is really not going to be close. You keep emphasizing the difference of these CIC games. Case in point, what you've seen in these first 30 minutes.
So now the punt. Dane Kinnaman, return man just south of his 20. Takes a chance from the 26 and earns around the 32, gain of about 6.
Compared to their schedule. And I'm not knocking normal college students, but these individuals are special for what they go through on a daily basis. It's amazing. I mean, football's a break. Football's your time off.
Eldridge, almost 8 yards per carry, is on pace to break the program record established by Mike Brown. That was back in the early 80s when he averaged 7.5 per carry. What can Air Force do in just under a minute? Larrier underneath. Eldridge driven back. Only gets to the 35 with forward progress.
Well, first down, they show you a option style formation with everybody crammed into a small little closet. Now they come out in much more of a spread look for the pass.
Larrier lobs it, too long, picked off! Intercepted by Bo Nicholas Paul through heavy traffic. And Army's got the ball and a short field, a critical third giveaway by Air Force.
Larrier looked like he wanted to run a quarterback draw. If it was a quarterback draw, play action fake, it was a heck of a fake. But he might have faked out his receiver too, because where he throws the ball, there was nobody but Black Knights. Right there, right in the middle of the defense. Ball came off kind of funny out of his hand, kind of helicoptered out there, and they're able to immediately catch that thing and return it now into field goal range.
The Air Force quarterback position had not turned the ball over, period, all year. It has been a fumble and the first pick. 3 giveaways, the most for Air Force on the campaign. And now Army already in immediate field goal range. 19 seconds, 3 timeouts. Lock left side, back foot left side. Incomplete, flag out. Trey Taylor was trailing in coverage, matched up with Noah Short.
Well, it's been pass interference in the past. On the other side, when the Air Force receivers have been near the receivers.
Defense, number 7, 15-yard penalty, first down.
And while it's not the spot foul, granted this tight confine, those 15 yards mean a lot.
Yeah, when you don't turn around, you don't know where the ball is, and you run into the receiver, that's going to be a penalty every single time, but it's safe.
So what's your idea play call-wise here?
Well, you've got 14 seconds left. You've got 3 plays if you're going to pass it.
Markel Johnson sidecar. On 1st and goal. Backside pressure. Daly flushed. Flag out. And he gets dropped for a loss of 3. That was Bo Richter in hot pursuit.
You had a hold on the backside of that pass protection.
Holding, offense, number 65, 10-yard penalty, second down.
Goes on Lucas Scott, who was not a starter at a spring, but earned it as the year went on. It's down to 8 seconds.
Right there, 65. Just a little tug on the jersey, but it's right there in front of our referee.
A timeout for Army. Now it's 8 seconds, and the ball backed up to the 20. What are you thinking?
Well, you got 2 plays, counting your field goal. In my mind, you're either going to run a conservative run, or you're going to throw the ball. And I think that Robinson, the receiver, the running back, is probably your best choice as a receiver.
And we have not seen that pass game to Tyrell Robinson. Drew Thatcher told us this week that he wanted to get him on the edge more, get him in space. He had a couple of catches in the game against Air Force in 21, including a big 79-yard touchdown when he sprinted down the right sideline.
These are bonus points, and this is a bonus possession for Army. Because the way it was looking, it looked like Troy Calhoun and company were going to keep the ball for the rest of the half and then have the ball to start the second half. Now you've got a chance to put bonus points on the board. The one thing you don't want to do is put the ball in peril and give it back to Air Force. So I think being conservative here is not a bad thing.
Daly indeed keeps it on the ground, gets his kicker set. Army calls another timeout, 5 seconds. Now Jeff Munkin's squad trying to snap a 5-game losing skid. Army has not lost a half dozen in a row under Munkin, who over the last 7 seasons has been averaging over 8 wins per year.
Yeah, this is a proud program. All these academy programs have had their day in the sun over the course of the last decade or so. That's why you get all the passion and the enthusiasm and the craziness in these CIC games.
Over the last decade, it's been a dead even split. Each of the 3 service academies, Army, Air Force, and Navy, with 3 CIC trophy wins. The one exception in that time when it was shared. And in that case, if it's a tie in the 3-team round robin, it is physically retained by the previous winner, but technically shared by all 3 academies. So the offense on the field with 5 seconds. They need the end zone. And Daly takes a knee, just centers it the snap here for his kicker.
Yeah, middle of the field for the kicker.
And it also leaves 0 time for Air Force in case some odd fluke may happen.
See, that was part of the strategy. I think it went involved with Jeff Monken was, hey, if I kick it in 5 seconds, it wasn't going to take 3 seconds to kick a field goal, 4 seconds maybe. I have to go ahead and kick it off. Why invite problems? Why give an extra play that could happen? Kill that extra play, kill the clock, and just get our kicker a chance to put these points on the board.
Quinn Moretsky has connected from 45, tying a season and career high. He's hit from 40. So at elevation, he tries to remain perfect on the day, this time from 38. To try to make it a 20-point difference at the break. Moretsky inside the right upright. Wilkins will have the ball. Kinnaman set to return to spark the second. Ball booted and more than deep enough. A touchback as we check in with Tina, who checked in with the head man.
Well, Air Force head coach Troy Calhoun said offensively they just need to put together longer drives, a nice 10-play drive. He says because if we're out there and extending these drives, Army can't score 40 points on us. He said they need to be more consistent with their third downs and be strong with the ball because, of course, turnovers happen in football, but they need to have better ball protection here in the second half if they want to come back.
Just the third time they've trailed at half, their biggest deficit after a break.
Now, you know, Jeff Monken and the Army coaches were emphasizing what a second-half team this Air Force team was. So it will come no surprise to these Army cadets.
Inside run. And a bully rush to the 29. A gain of 4 there for Eldridge. So Air Force entered the top running team in the country, trying to make it 3 straight years pacing the FBS, but humbled to 82 yards on the ground in the first half.
And they're powered by this offensive line that's dominated a lot of the opponents in the Mountain West, but they certainly haven't dominated Army today.
Option pitch. And Eldridge veered out of bounds at around the 32, gets 4. Escorted out of play by Lowen.
And if there were 2 sort of consequential running plays in this game, it hasn't been an option play like this. It's been the runs on 4th down that Army has stopped and thwarted. So you get here on 3rd and medium, and you're Jeff Monken. You feel really good. If we can stop him in our here on 3rd, we know we can stop him on 4th. Other side of the coin, Air Force says, hey, we got the better offensive line. This is our time of the game.
Jet sweep. Eldridge gets low, gets the first to the 36. Lowen again the stop. Well, Air Force, in its 8 games entering today, 7 times began the second half with the ball. 6 of those 7 touchdown on the opening drive. Part of the reason Air Force has outscored its foes 131-36 in the second half. Eldridge and Michelle both in. Larrier, the option pitch to Eldridge. There's Lowen, flag out. DiDomenico had the first shot at him. Lowen helped propel him out of bounds just shy of the 40.
It's going to be a hold going against Air Force. It's going to be called on one of the receivers on the outside.
Illegal block in the back. Offense, number 11. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot.
You called it on Wyatt Wilson, and it's those men that drew the praise of some of the Air Force offensive linemen. Adam Karras, who hails from Colorado, would pass this stadium.
Right there, blocking the back.
He would pass this stadium regularly as a kid. Gave high praise to the perimeter players for their ability and willingness to block.
Anytime you run this style of offense, you better have willing blockers on the outside, John.
On the ground, Michelle nearly back to the original line of scrimmage. DiDomenico stumbled him just shy of there. A gain of about 9.5.
Now, there's a very Air Force kind of a run. Jackman Jackman and Holcomb, Pagley along the center. Did some really nice work on that particular run. That's the kind of play, that's the kind of game. It's very Air Force offense. You have to see more of that in the second half for them to come back in this game.
Kyle Lewis high stepped off. Richardson is in. Larrier. And there is DiDomenico yet again. He's been in on the last several plays. Just about nothing there, third down.
A little bit of a hesitation style of a play. I really curious, almost looked like going to be a drop back pass that Larrier turned into a run to the right side.
DiDomenico draws praise from his DC, Nate Woody, who said he is the quarterback of the DBs, gets them in and out of their coverages. He was a passing quarterback in high school, does it defensively for Army West Point. 3rd and 10, 3 of 7 on third down today. It looked like movement on the left side of that Air Force front.
False start. Offense, number 2, 5-yard penalty, third down.
Brandon Angle, the wideout.
Again, very out of character to have this number of mistakes. There's a mistake right there. That's that little twitch that gets you a penalty. We've seen both these teams make those mistakes. It's a little bit of nerves, a little bit of intensity needs to be throttled just back a little bit.
These teams first and second fewest flags in America. That has not been the case today. Larrier slings it out, a little too long, incomplete, off the extended fingertips of a leaping Kinnaman. When Draylon Hammonds was there in coverage.
Timing just a little bit off from a throw standpoint. There's throwing it to the hands and there's throwing it to the fingernails. That one was more on the fingernails. Bring that back another couple inches, it could be a catch.
So here's Tyrell Robinson in as the punt returner. He's been used on kick return, but not on punt return since a knee injury cost him a year. Robinson, who had a punt return for a touchdown last year, only gets a few yards. Now we'll step aside. Daly, a 62-yard sprint for a score. Here he goes right into the clutches of Jonathan Youngblood, drags him for an extra yard to the 39, gain of 2.
The difference so far today has been the running of Bryson Daly on that little hesitation inside. And it's worth saying again, this has been a very nice adjustment by Jeff Monken and his staff. Coming into today, they wanted to really change this offense. They wanted it to be different. They wanted to add some passing. Well, it's been pretty much same old like option style offense, and they've taken it to Air Force.
Air Force not run on like this since Army did it 5 years ago. And there's Daly again. He's just short by a little less than a yard. Trey Taylor on the tackle. Help there from Jaden Goodwin.
But these games are always about who can have sustained drives. Well, you need to finish these runs and get these first downs. But if you can have sustained drives, you can dominate these series. And right now, Air Force, the onus is on Air Force to have those sustained drives and chunk plays. The last thing Air Force wants right now is for Army to have sustained drives.
And here on 3rd and 1, this drive continues. The plunge by Daly. Trey Williams hounds him at the 50, gain of 4.
Just a pure quarterback run. Zone blocking inside. Man blocking, as it turns out to be, and it's really been to the advantage of the Army Black Knights, is the way that Army offensive line has blocked on this Air Force defense that has come into the game as one of the better run defenses in the country.
Air Force had entered this game 4th in scoring defense, 2nd in rushing defense, 3rd in total defense. But Bryson Daly has run for 140 by himself. Flag down, they get about 3. Marcus Woods, our referee, busier than you would have thought.
Personal foul, chop block, offense, number 60 and number 88, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Connor Finucane, right tackle, and tight end Josh Lingenfelter just back from injury.
That's when the lead blocker is engaged right here. Watch these two engage. Tackle goes low, tight end blocks, pushes him down into the block. You can't engage both players on a defender like that, especially with one of them low. And it's usually the back guy is low and the lead guy is high. That time it was the lead guy was high and the backside was low.
Already 7 penalties against Army. Play fake, Daly. Just a little long, looking for Ijon Marshall. Second down and 25, and that, of course, was part of the philosophy change for Army, going from the traditional triple option flexbone type look. Jeff Monken, a longtime disciple of Paul Johnson, whose coaching tree is significant, and they employed the shotgun system that has some option elements to try to get ahead of the cut block rule changes.
Well, you put yourself behind the sticks right here, and this is definitely advantage Air Force. Time to attack.
They bring a blitz. And there is nothing there for Bryson Daly. He gets sandwiched at the 33, loss of a couple.
They normally would bring 3 to 4. That time they brought 5, and 5 was plenty to stop him for no gain. And bring the quarterback back just barely into the backfield.
Armed Forces Football proudly supported by Serve Pro. Third down and 27. Fewer possessions, the import of field position significant.
You'll bring at least 4 here and drop.
On the ground, Buchanan, Peyton's adroit, the bear hug denial at the 36, gain of 3.
Yeah, no problem, mission accomplished though if you're Air Force. Army started that off with some good Bryson Daly running. Air Force was lucky enough to get a penalty or so that backed things up. Once that Army got backed up, they kind of got out of sorts and out of their kind of MO. And that made them have to pass, and that's exactly where Air Force wants it.
Each defense denies to begin the second. Army ran 6 plays, got negative -1 yard on that possession. Bit of a high snap. Lean kick for Allen. Kinnaman from the 25. And he gets dropped at the 30. But we'll step aside.
Odds doing a heck of a job as the new OC at Baltimore with Lamar Jackson too.
And leading that spirited Ravens offense. Mike Thiessen calls the plays for Air Force. Went 8-0 against Army and Navy during his playing days. Long look sideline. Play clock at 5. Larrier, option. Eldridge out of bounds right near the marker. Injury update, down to Tina.
Well, Air Force wide receiver Jared Rosnos is not out here on the field in the second half. With a couple of minutes left in the first half, Rosnos left the field with medical personnel. He was holding the area of his left collarbone, and this followed after he fell on the ball, the incomplete pass in the end zone. And if I see him come back out here, guys, I will let you know.
Well, thank you, Tina. That's significant. He's their leading pass catcher by volume of receptions and yards. Larrier, backside pressure, hammered as he throws, incomplete. I think he heard the challenging footsteps of Camden O'Gara.
Yeah, you know, he had to know it was coming. If he had just another heartbeat to stand back there and hold it, because you had a wide open receiver. That's exactly what the Army defense needs, is to keep putting these kind of hits on the quarterback. But by the same token, perfect execution by the Air Force offense, except for the part of getting the ball to the receiver.
2nd and 10. Inside run at a wrestling match. Jack Latour latched on.
Wrestling match, that looked like PBR.
Down to the 41, gain of 1. Now these games are so physical. Randy, it's something you and I get to go to Army Navy each year. You have duties and pre and post. I call it on radio. The intensity of when these academies meet each other, the violence of the collisions. it is at a different level. Larrier steps into this one. Strong throw, shape up and a grab. Able to connect with Wyatt Wilson. That's his first catch of the year, 28 yards.
Well, life in offense is timing. And when your timing is right on the passing game, quarterback hits that foot, doesn't get pressured, delivers the ball. That's about as close as perfect as you're going to get.
Well, with Rosnos out, it's next man up. Owen Burke, the deep back now.
Good job by Larrier, too, throwing through a little bit of a sea of arms coming at him.
Off the fake, hounded again. Larrier steps up, improvises, and gets tagged with multiple hits. Knocked down at the 28, gain of 4. Heck of a job to improvise there.
Larrier made another 3 or 4 yards after first contact, just evading bodies and refusing to go down there on the end of that run. When you get immediate heat like that, there's 1 tackle broken, 2, 3. Couldn't break the 4th, but he still went forward when he got hit.
We have not seen any trick plays yet in this game. They often pop up. Larrier, option pitch. Violent hit, flag out. Bo Nicholas Paul brought the hard shoulder to Aiden Calvert as he tried to turn the corner.
Did you get a little unnecessary roughness there? Is that what the referee's going to call on that hit on Larrier as he was pitching the ball?
I'm not sure if there might be 2 flags because one's down at the 35. I think that came later. The earlier flag was out near the sideline. Another few yards downfield. Our crew gathers up. I think we might have 2 different penalties here.
Because that was basically a pass. That was a forward pitch.
So we have 2 fouls on the play. Personal foul, horse collar, defense. After the play, personal foul, late hit out of bounds, defense number 2. Both penalties will be enforced. First down.
Let's take a look at the horse collar first. That's Austin Hill. This is one of the points of emphasis this year. And if you grab
right
anywhere
there,
on the nameplate,
in the back on that nameplate, absolutely, John. And then right there, clearly in the white. What did we say earlier about just kind of dialing back the enthusiasm a little bit? Intensity is intensity, but unbelievable amount of penalties between both these teams.
They have piled up dramatically. First and goal. Larrier yanked down. Was Darius Richardson. No gain, spotted at the 6.
So, there's a clean tackle from behind on the quarterback when you're grabbing his upper body and twisting him down to the ground instead of grabbing in that nameplate area and pulling him down.
And the pull down has to be there as part of it. So now second and goal. Air Force in the red zone, touchdown 77% of the time of the year. Army's defense only yields TDs 54% of the time. That's been a strength. Larrier fake the jet sweep. Only gets a yard. Leo Lowen wrapped him up just below the waist. He gets to the 5. It's third and goal.
What a nice job by Leo Lowen coming around the block and making that play at the end. Denying Larrier his legs. There's Lowen coming off the block, dealing into the legs and taking him down.
Air Force without a touchdown on the game. Entered averaging almost 34 points per, top 30 in the country.
You get down to the 2 or so, you'd think about going for it on 4th.
Hard cadence. Play fake to Michelle. Larrier dropped! All the way back at the 15, Quindraylon Hammonds.
Well, the Larrier as a quarterback, you make that fake, you have to turn your back to that side of the defense as you make that fake. When you turn around, here comes the sprint. Here comes the DB coming at you. That's a matter of just reaction time, and Larrier didn't have enough reaction time to evade. Good defense by Army.
32-yard field goal try from Matthew DePore. He's converted on his lone other attempt today. And this kick is no good. Mistakes have piled up. Larrier into the medical tent as we take a look at some of the miscues.
Well, Larrier's taken quite a few shots in this game. Made a few mistakes. Had his first turnover of the season with that play. Later on in the second quarter, had that turnover, had this turnover here at the end of the second quarter. And just now, after their better drive of the day so far, ends up in the missed field goal.
And the keeper here for Daly. And at the core, Randy, yes, the mistakes have certainly mounted for Air Force, and they're significant. But when we spoke with Jeff Monken, the veteran head coach for Army, and asked him his ideas on the matchup and what stood out, he put it simply and bluntly. He said it would come down to being able to run and being able to stop the run, and that has decided the big part of this game.
Yeah, it really has. And in the first CIC game of the year, Air Force was held to 137 yards rushing by the Navy defense, so it's not like they didn't have a sort of a blueprint as to how to stop this offense.
Udo leads with a block. No room there for Daly. Get around Tyson Rowley, and Bo Richter silences the QB at the 22. Gain of 1, but time ticking. The third quarter is fading.
Yeah, last couple of possessions that have been a little bit more of a window into what the defense has looked like so far this year for Air Force, especially dealing with the run.
Army has not had a 20-point lead against an AP-ranked opponent since 1958 against South Carolina. It would finally face Air Force for the first time the next year, a tie at Yankee Stadium. On 3rd and 8, offline, he had Olawale. Jaden Goodwin was there in coverage, 4th down on the punt unit.
Nice job by the Air Force defense there, thwarting Monken's offense. You stop him on 1st down, get minus yards on 2nd down, or the equivalent of minus yards on 2nd down. You put them in a very uncomfortable position of having to throw.
Cooper Allen to punt. Snap on the last punt was a touch tall. This one a little low. Kinnaman. As soon as he gets the ball, he gets hit.
Boy, that's close to being interference on the returner.
The Holy Cross. This will only be their second matchup since 1994. Play fake. Larrier loads up. Torillos denied. And a sheath of the sword by Jabari Moore.
It's not getting to desperation time yet for Air Force, but if they're going to make this comeback, they need 3 touchdowns in the next 15 minutes of football. It's going to be a tall order, and they don't have very much room for error. You've got to make those kind of completions. You got to stay on the field, and these possessions have to be points.
That possession took 1 minute and 6 seconds. 3 and out and a bad punt. And hops out of bounds. Now, if you go by the AP poll, the CFP, a very recent addition to the college landscape, 52 consecutive losses, the last win.
Wow.
Air Force, first year of the CIC in 1972. Daly takes 2 yards. Time ticks.
Yeah, real simple. Easy technology to figure out. 20-point lead. 14 and a half minutes to go. Time on the clock is oxygen. The more time you can take off the clock, the less oxygen your opponent has, which gives them chances, which gives them hope. And if your Army, stay on the field, stay in bounds, and 2 hands on the ball.
Let's see how long they take this play clock each snap in this final quarter. Down to 5 here. Daly rumbles for a yard.
Yeah, that's got to be the minimum, John, is 5. 5 should be about when you get your hands under the center, you even think about getting the snap. That's going to run the maximum amount of time off the clock. And now it's really kind of a math problem. How many more possessions can you get in these 13.5 minutes? At some point, without a huge type of a chunk play or a titanic turn play like a pick six, the numbers are really not in your favor if you're Air Force.
Army 2 of 9 on third down. Extra DB is in for Air Force. Play fake, Daly. Floats it over top, caught! Tyrell Robinson subbed in as an extra running back, and he gets hit in stride, first down. They pick up 23 yards.
There's Robinson right there. He's going to come out, run a little circle route coming out of the backfield. Really nice. Nice job offensively. That's a great design right there. Keeps your offense on the field, keeps your receiver inbounds, and keeps the clock moving now to 12:45.
Udo is in at running back. Snap. Comes in 4 seconds and a flag.
Timing was a little off between the clap and the snap. That might have gotten his own team.
Snap infraction. Offense, number 51. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Probably a little hesitation snap. The young center, the freshman center. You start to snap it, stop, and then snap it a little bit again.
Yeah, Randy, something that always stands out to me, it doesn't stun me because you expect it, is how crowded the line of scrimmage is in these matchups. So rarely today has anyone been more than 10 yards at most away from the line of scrimmage. Daly slips on throw. And the foot grab yanked him down at the 38. That was from Jaden Goodwin. Excuse me. Make that the 42, gain of 7.
Well, that's what makes plays like that much more unusual, is when you pop plays like that. You know, Finucane did a nice job. Lucas Scott, Brady Small on that side of the Army offensive line. If you can do that, you have those little pop plays, that makes up for the mistake. Now that kind of keeps you on schedule. Now it's 2nd and 7. That's much more manageable. You've stayed in bounds, and the clock keeps ticking. Getting down towards 11:30 now.
Daly over 150 on the ground. Blitz up the gut. Daly keep. Zigzags through and gets chipped down by Richter. This time he does have the 38, gain of 3.
That was kind of crazy. It looked like it was going to be a -2 run. It ended up being a +1 or so.
Daly's been able to do that multiple times today. His feel, his read, his willingness to take harm and fight for that extra yard has stood out.
Yeah, he has really good hesitation timing. You know, he's been riding that fake good when he needs to do that. And when he tucks it, he doesn't necessarily just go. He looks, he jukes, he hesitates, he jumps, he cuts.
Buchanan, their biggest back, is in, nearly 260 pounds. Daly gets low and he plunges. He'll be short by a little less than a yard. So now it's 4th down and less than a yard. You going for it?
No, you definitely go for it here. Absolutely. By the time you snap the ball again, it's going to be right around 10 minutes to go in this 4th quarter. Just doing the math on number of possessions possible. You're not going to salt the game away here, but you're 5 yards away from field goal territory.
1 for 1 on 4th down today. They need a yard. Rendina in motion. Daly keeps, tries to launch, it gets stoned. Turned back by Alec Mock, and the Air Force defense holds on 4th and less than a yard.
Now there's an instance what I talked about earlier on 4th and short.
That have the built-in backboned fortitude to deal with the mental hurdle of a late deficit. It's our service academies. Air Force trying to accomplish something it hasn't done in nearly 30 years. Rally from down 20 or more in the 4th quarter and win. Last accomplished in 1996 against the Bulldogs of Fresno State.
And this late, I mean, you're talking inside of 10 minutes, you need help. It can't just be great big plays by you, and you don't have the luxury of long sustained drives. You need chunks.
Larrier Caught. Denied and incomplete. Leo Lowen on the tumble, who has had a whale of a day. He leads Army in tackles with 9. He has a TFL. He has a force fumble, and he nearly had a pick there.
Yeah, you get these service academies. There are certain guys, they're kind of like they're academy kings. They're guys that in these games, these academy games, just kind of rise up. And you noticed, or you noted how many tackles Lowen had last year against Navy. He's having the same kind of game right here against Air Force.
Larrier, 3rd and 7. Not a pretty ball. Go up and get it. Wyatt Wilson entered the day with no catches. We haven't seen Jared Rosnos since the break. That's his 2nd grab in the wake of their top receiver's absence.
Might not have been a pretty pass, but it was pretty enough. It got to that point right there at the end.
Bo Nicholas Paul in coverage on the stop. Precious time fading. Larrier. Clipped by Charlo. The linebackers have stood out brilliantly. Jackson Powell, Jimmy Charlo, Leo Lowen have made plays everywhere today.
Yeah, that tackle by Charlo was huge because you get Larrier in open space, forget about it. He's going to go a long way. No tackle there. The next linebacker ain't catching him once he starts striding.
2nd and 3. Backside pressure. Quick hitter, incomplete. Looked like Grillos wasn't on the same page. Jabari Moore was flying into the backfield to apply the pressure on Larrier.
Man, Larrier knew he had to get rid of that ball and didn't really have the luxury of standing there and reading that defense too much, and knew he had to get it out of his hand because of that backside pressure from Moore.
It was Moore who disrupted the final pass that ended the game at overtime and beat Air Force a couple of years ago. 3rd and 3. Definitive 4-down range with the deficit.
2 plays to get this one.
Kinnaman in motion. Off the play fake. Flag out. Whistles. Blown dead. Now that motion looked hurried and not quite in line.
Looked like it might have been towards the line of scrimmage
False
too
start.
at the end. Little false
Offense,
start. Yep.
number 23. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Watch the motion right here. Does he start going this way before the ball is snapped? Yep. Good call. Kind of made that break before the snap.
The game plan drawn up by Nate Woody and executed by this Army defense has been incredibly impressive. This is a really good Air Force team. Larrier down, Lowen into the backfield.
Fumble.
And Army says it has it. Army football, another turnover. Lowen has been a wrecking crew.
Just those guys you get in these CIC, these academy games, John. You've talked about it all day long. You can go down the list of guys from all 3 of these academies. There are guys that just play different. They're built different. They react different. Lowen is a good
times all year. 4 giveaways today, 3 from their quarterback, Zach Larrier. A couple of fumbles and a pick.
Both these teams have been a little out of sorts as far as what's normal is, penalties, turnovers, things like that.
Udo on the ground. Alec Mock latches on, 2nd man. Brings him down to the ground at the 45. That was Jalen Mergerson.
Pay close attention to the Army runners right now. Every time anybody runs with the ball, they've got to have 2 hands on the ball. I mean, it's really unusual, especially if you get in air. Most runners kind of move and they get the offhand gets off the ball. Your second hand can never get off the ball in this situation if you're Army.
That's something the coaching staff has been drilling all year. They have fumbled entering this game 19 times, losing 10, 2nd most in America.
And Air Force knows that, so they're going to be ripping at it.
On the ground, and a gain of half a yard. Tina, what have you learned about how Army is drilled protecting the football?
Well, it's pretty simple. You go to an Army practice and all you hear when they're running plays is Jeff Monken screaming 2 hands on the ball, 2 hands on the ball. And when a player an Army fumbles a ball in a game, the rest of that game and maybe the rest of the season is also in jeopardy. Good example, it was called back last week where Bryson Daly fumbled the ball. I'll tell you what, I was next to him on the sidelines. His eyes were like silver dollars. He was stunned. He thought maybe his day was over. That was called back, but these players know it's all about protecting that ball.
Nebraska, more fumbles lost. Daly lobs this one short, incomplete.
Boy, that came off his hand really funny, didn't it? Almost like a shot put instead of a throw. That looked like he almost lost control, but lucky that wasn't fumbled before the ball ever got out of his hand. Watch it come out of his hand. That was really weird.
Well, I'm wondering if maybe he was sped up by that pressure right in his face.
Yeah, probably had something to do with it.
And Kinnaman, the return man, but under 7 minutes and a 20-point difference. Air Force entered on its longest win streak in almost 40 years. Fair catch.
It needs to go away. That team needs to be rewarded.
On first down, nothing there. That has been a common refrain. There was Charlo, part of the pair, along with Moore, to combine on the sandwich hit. Air Force, the top rushing team in America, entering the game, looking for a third straight national rushing title. Kinnaman shoved out of bounds, gets just beyond the 31.
Sort of add on to what you're talking about, 300 yards a game, 122 right now, and they're in a position now where running is what they can't do. They've got to throw the ball. Down 3 touchdowns.
While Larrier has been hyper efficient on the year, he had 40 pass attempts total on the season entering this game. Larrier with nothing available. Runs in the field into a tackle. Taken out at around the 35 by Chris Frey. Spot him 36.
It's a nice job of knowing where your defense is, and if you know you have help back inside, make him turn back inside. See, the outside backer, the safety, makes him turn back inside, and the pursuit gets him coming.
Larrier finds Wyatt Wilson. He's become the favorite target with Rosnos seemingly lost due to injury. Low in the stop, first down. Now, Lowen has had a tremendous game.
When you look at this Army defense playing the way they are, they'll let them dink and dunk down the field. Wait till they get down to the red zone, then try to stifle them and make them kick a field goal.
Blitz comes far side. Karras picks it up. Tip ball line of scrimmage. Slapped down to the ground, incomplete. Active hands up front.
Nice job again. You're not going to get there. Get your hands up.
That was Nate Smith.
Pretty job by Nate Smith getting his, well, it wasn't in his hands that got it. It might have been his face, but still worked. Net effect.
Air Force had not enjoyed a beginning like this in some time. Larrier, long heave. Incomplete, flag out. That was Quinn Smith, who was arm fighting down the sideline, along with Bo Nicholas Paul.
Pass interference. Defense, number 2. 15-yard penalty, first down.
And again, it's worth mentioning, not being a spot foul, it really doesn't kill you that much. There's the contact right there. Doesn't take much. You're isolated like that in front of God and country, you're going to get called for a penalty when you get a little handsy.
11 penalties, 119 yards for Army. Highly uncharacteristic. Picked off. That's Bo Nicholas Paul. Another turnover. 5 on the day. And Larrier hot after Army takes it away again.
Second receiver needs to get to this point and then break. It's a little bit not sloppy, but just not as quick and efficient as it needs to be. It needs to happen now. It needs to go now. And that's what Larrier is anticipating. There's not much now to it. And the nearest receiver turns out to be a defensive back as a result.
Air Force had 5 giveaways on the season entering the game. 5 giveaways today. Daly gets a yard. And there have been many numbers to this point that are in line to be first time in a long time since, coincidentally, a number of other matchups head-to-head against Army. Most turnovers since facing Army in 2012.
Yeah. And you put a team in a position, you mentioned earlier, coming into this game, 40 net passes. And now Air Force has to do nothing but throw the ball. And your efficiency and your execution level is just not there. It's the leading rushing team in the country, not the leading passing team in the country.
Now can the Army offense act like a boa constrictor to conclude this game? This is the most vibrant pressure we have seen from Air Force's defense. Daly a half yard. Caden Blum on the stop. A timeout called by Air Force. A 13-game win streak that was established first against Army. Air Force has not fallen since dropping a 1-score game to Boise State. This was in October last year. Turnovers part of it. Put it on the ground 3 times. Jonah Dalmas 4 field goal makes. A 19-14 finish. The next week, Air Force beat Army and started this program record-tying 13-game win streak.
And as we've mentioned innumerable times, the key has been running the ball well, not making many mistakes, and more importantly, not helping the other guy, not turning the ball over. And they have done all of that today.
Buchanan blocks, Daly follows. Spins with twisting contact from Richter and others. Jaden Goodwin in there as well. Looks like we'll get another Air Force timeout, freeze the clock at 3:44 with 4th down coming. Giveaways this series, a game that was even more dominant than that final score. Cooper Allen to punt. Dean Kinnaman, the return man. They bring pressure. He just gets it off. That is great carry on the back pedal. Kinnaman. Shouldered out of bounds around the 30.
Chance to win the Commander-in-Chief Trophy in 2023 with that, if they can get a win against Navy on December 9th.
Zach Larrier has been lifted. Jensen Jones is in at quarterback. Jones able to connect with Caleb Rillos. That's good for a first down. A dynamic all-time winning streak is minutes away from coming to a crashing, grinding halt. While an Army team that's been full of misery and as dismal as can be, flags out, could spin around in one game.
Yeah, and it's not only that winning streak, I mean, the hopes of a New Year's Day game.
False start. Offense. Not all 11 players got set. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
And they were behind Tulane in the initial CFP rankings for that group of 5 path to a New Year's Six Bowl. In the last 20 years, that matchup in 17, and to this point, this affair, the worst offensive showings for Air Force. And that short and incomplete. And that's the heft, the weight of these games. Yeah, I think that's where Jeff Monken has put it best when he talks about playing in these service academy games. The only fun thing about them is winning them. To be on the losing side is agony.
It definitely is. It's winning them is everything, and it's the exact opposite when you don't win.
And the keeper, Bo Nicholas Paul, he is halted at the 50. That's shy of the first.
But you want to talk about, calling a good game. How about Nate Woody, the defensive coordinator of Army, in this Army defense the way they've played for Jeff Monken.
Just the last 7 years, he's matched the win total over the prior nearly quarter century in these CIC affairs. Low and knocked it free, and Army's got it. It's half a dozen giveaways for Air Force, half a dozen takeaways for Army. And a Black Knight is down. And now up with the football, Dre Miller.
How about that fill and blast through the ball by Leo Lowen, the linebacker? Watch the linebacker come. Lowen, 31 right there, puts his shoulder down, shoulder and hip, take out the runner, shoulder takes out the ball. These CIC games just innately bring out the best in certain players, and Lowen has etched his spot in Army lore with his ability to do that in these games.
Army opportunistic, Air Force its worst day of the year by a lot. On the keeper, Daly. And also consider, Randy, so 6 true takeaways today, but you also add on twice stopped on 4th down.
Oh yeah, turnovers on downs. To these kind of offenses, turnovers on downs is a turnover.
Right.
So that's 9.
First time in a long time on each side, on many levels. And now Champ Harris, the freshman quarterback, in. He had started the last couple of games out of the storied St. Thomas Aquinas high school program in Greater Miami. And he runs into contact, but time ticks. Air Force with 1 timeout.
So Bryson Daly will finish his day, seeing as he's not in there. 36 rushes, 170 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
No Air Force opponent had run for more than 124 as a team, and he did that personally. And that's where in these academy games, no matter who wins, often the individual players that shine, as Daly and Lowen have for Army today, are the embodiment of what the team achieved. It is so complimentary.
Well, that's what these games are all about. We talk about the pride and the passion and whatnot. It's about the institutions. It's not about the individuals.
These are leadership factories. And there's a first down run. And it goes beyond those in uniform on the field to those in uniform in the stands, their fellow classmates. Yeah, I thought Troy Calhoun put it well, but we spoke with him this week, that our country needs the next generation of people. It always does, to give of service, to give of themselves, as he did himself in service as an academy graduate, as most of the men on his staff have. The final 20 seconds. And a knee. The Army Black Knights snap a 5-game slide. Jeff Monken's team has its first win over an AP-ranked squad in over half a century, dismantling a red-hot Air Force team 23-3.